He's no softy, and he'll show that when he gets in the ring with Riakporhe, Spencer. What do you think going into this? Who's going to have the edge in the night?
It's a great fight. You know, you go back to July 2019 when they last boxed. Split decision to Richard Riakporhe, who's a different fighter now. He really is. And so is Chris Billam-Smith. They both had great paths. Riakporhe's got himself into that mandatory position. Chris Billam-Smith won that world title against Lawrence Okoli at the Vitality Stadium, so he's used to the stadiums as well. It's a fantastic fight. I think Billam-Smith's had 10 wins since then. Riakporhe's had 7 wins. I just feel that Riakporhe is improved mentally and physically. You know, I think that he's improved a lot. And Chris Billam-Smith's had a harder career, you know, against Masternak last time out. He had to come through. He had to ask himself questions in that. Like, he's had a tough journey. I mean, he's overachieved in so many ways, Chris Billam-Smith, and I don't mean that in a horrible way. What I'm saying is, when he started his boxing career, he thought, if he wins a British title, possibly European, he's done really well. That's where I saw his level. But he's just improved so much under the watchful eye of Shane McGuigan, and they've just done tremendous together. Winning that world title was fantastic, and he's defended it a couple of times. Great fight, and but I just lean towards Riakporhe just because I feel that the timing might just be right for him on this fight, but I would never bet on it because it's we've seen with Billam-Smith that he can weather the storm, he can come through those tough times, and he can pull it around.
Are you saying
he doesn't feel sorry for himself?
He hasn't lived up to expectation, Billam-Smith?
Oh no!
You thought he was going to get there, but so far he's only get there.
No. I'm totally the opposite, the other way around. That's what I'm saying. He's far exceeded expectations.
Right.
No, I think that what he's gone on to achieve, like I never thought he was going to do what he had done. And you just look at him and you go, the improvements and that will to win and that psychological battle that we're talking about. You know, not feeling sorry for yourself when things are not going your way. He's weathered many storms in fights and turned them around. He's got that ability to do that, which is a fantastic trait to have.
Did you have doubts, Simon, about he would get to where he has indeed got to?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody felt, I think the conventional wisdom was that Richard Riakporhe was ringside in May of last summer to call out Lawrence Okoli after Lawrence Okoli had defended his title against Chris Billam-Smith.
Yes.
That was the gig that was going on, the Riakporhe versus Okoli fight. You'd seen the manufactured or the altercation in the cinema between those two guys, and there was a presumed assumption that was going to be the scenario. Chris Billam-Smith, lost the first fight against Riakporhe on a split decision, as Spencer talks about. There's a variety of different things. I spent some time with Riakporhe, one of Riakporhe's mentors, in the last fight that he had against Slovakia, the one before last, and he was talking about the dispelling of demons and the belief system that Richard now has, which means he don't step in and let his hands go, and he did against Slovakia. And of course you've got the flip side of Chris Billam-Smith, who's now world champion, and whilst it was hard for him against Masternak, and I thought it was harder than I anticipated it was going to be, because whilst Masternak was a good fighter, Chris Billam-Smith as a world title holder should have made slightly lighter work of it than he did. And so with that in mind, you've got one side of it, which I concur with Spencer on, which is Riakporhe is the fresher, more dynamic fighter. I mean, Billam-Smith is incredibly durable, but he's also now a world champion and walks like a world champion. Sure. So the balance is there. If I'm asked to put a bet down and someone's saying to me I have to be forced to put a bet down, I would go down on the side of Riakporhe. And I've told Chris that, and Chris, being Chris that he is, because he's a gentleman, as you heard from the conversations, like, well, we'll see about that.
Yeah.
But what it is a good fight.
Yeah.
It's a great fight.
And that fight is at Selhurst Park on June the 15th.